Welcome back to Earthen Peak. Hopefully today will be a little bit more successful than yesterday. Now, on the bright side of our last ignominious death, Earthen Peak is actually a very condensed area if you don't go exploring the side passages. If you head directly to your destination, then you'll get where you're going in no time at all. I feel like that's indicative of fairly strong design. I feel like I'm really good at this game. Lingering flame hurts a lot. Just keep your distance until you know it's safe. It would be cool if we could get this guy into range of the pots, but at this point it's easier to just stab him to death. Using environmental traps on mobile enemies will always be difficult. Desert sorceresses drop a pretty hefty variety of useful consumables and equipment. So, if you are so inclined, farming them for dragon charms and wilted dusk herbs is not a bad use of your time. Now, our rematch with this dark spirit with the full moon scythe, I believe. That's the weapon that artificial undead use, I believe. Tends to go a lot better once you just ditch the shield entirely. At this point the fight is already won. The AI has committed a grave error in breaking open that pot, but I'm not just gonna wait around, so... There are two illusions here. One holds a bonfire. I hate it when they do this, by the way. And the other holds a chest. A perfectly safe chest, mind you. A petrified something is our reward. We can trade that in at the squeaky nest in the Things Betwixt with the crows demanding smooth and silky. Now, as opposed from previous games where you trade in specific items for specific rewards, the new crows, Tina and Dilly, are entirely random, and the quality of silky smooth item you give influences the quality of item that you get. Maybe. I'm not particularly fond of the new system, but whatever. It's worth it to go back every once in a while. Just sort of unload all the silky smooth things you've found. You can technically use them to heal yourself, but I've never really found a use for that. Now, it's time to pick up one last treasure before we fight the boss. But to get to it, we have to fight through this area again. Just finding an opening to simply descend can be tricky. Fireballs can reach you down in this propeller room. Wish they weren't so loud. It probably doesn't come through as much when I'm done post-processing, but when you're playing the game, they are very loud indeed. The Silver Black Spear is actually a favorite of mine. It has the exact same moveset as the normal spear, but it's also enchanted with a little bit of dark damage, which makes it a pretty versatile weapon. I'm glad that I picked one up here. The Desert Sorceress skirt is actually a really good piece of light armor, believe it or not. It looks ridiculous, and it doesn't look like it would offer any protection, but believe it or not, it does. It's especially resistant against fire. Alright, now, making this jump with that sorceress still alive would be a really bad idea, all told. If you're so inclined, you can snipe out the sorceresses really easily. They don't move around a lot, and their spells have limited range. Now then. I in no way missed this jump a repeated number of times. I did not fall to my death like an idiot several times in a row. Instead, after psyching myself up for a little bit, I make this perfect leap and reap my rewards. Said rewards are really not worth the trouble. That's a tricky jump to make. I decide instead of taking my chances getting back, I'm just gonna use a homeward bone and go back to the bonfire. Mysteriously, I seem to have come into a lot of souls over that last dissolve, so I'm gonna head back to Majula and buy some stuff. As always, a visit to Lenegras to repair things is in order.
I'll be around if you make it back.
Usually it's probably going to be one of the protection rings. I don't use them very often, but when I do, it's a pretty good chance they'll get broken.
Wait. You found your way out too. The name's Gilligan. Don't make me say it twice. Alright. What do you want? I have everything you need.
Gilligan is obnoxious and borderline delusional, so I'm just gonna buy something from him real quick and we can talk to him at a later date.
Cheers for that.
His prices have also gone up since he's moved from Earthen Peak.
Sorry, have we met? Oh, sorry. It's just I've been awfully busy lately. Care to look over my wares? Please, be my guest. I upgraded my stock recently, although it may be a bit out of your reach. I'm rich! I'm rich! I don't need to go home anymore. Home? Home? Where is home?
Well, Mullen appears to be doing pretty well for himself, at least financially. After the hefty soul infusion we gave him over the course of our journey, he seems to become quite an armor mogul. This is his final stock of normal armor, though he will continue to get new stuff in
Thanks for the purchase.
the way of boss armor. Today I wanted to purchase some of the Alva armor. The Alva armor is quite reminiscent of the Elite Knight armor. It sacrifices a bit of protection for actually quite a bit of weight in terms of just stats offered to weight taken, it's probably one of the better sets in the game once you upgrade it. It also just looks nice. I like it a lot. I was gonna see if I could go upgrade something, but I'm completely out of large shards.
See less.
Thought about leveling up, but then I just decided that I don't have enough anyway. I'll just keep those 6,000 on me as just for traveling expenses, like repairing things. Now with Earthen Peak pretty much fully explored, I can't say for certain, even I'm not sure of all the items in here. I know that we left behind a poison broadsword somewhere. You need to do a bunch of really sketchy drops to get it, and who cares? If you really want a poison broadsword, just do it yourself. Tight corridors combined with slopes makes for a difficult time fighting. We didn't even have to do anything that time. They broke the jars themselves. We're actually really very near the boss right now. Just want to make sure that nothing gets behind us here. And we need to take out those two grave wardens guarding the doorway. And after that, we'll be where we need to be. Now, facing two grave wardens at once can be a little difficult. Fortunately, you can pretty easily cordon them off in that little narrow stairway. Had we not burned the windmill down, this entire area would be filled with poison. What makes a backstab a backstab? I don't think we'll ever find out. Speaking of doing it yourself, that poison stone will help you do just that if you want a weapon that inflicts poison all by its lonesome. We don't quite know who can do that for us yet, but we're getting very close to that point. The next boss is very weak to fire, so I do a sweep for any phantoms that might want to be summoned, but the only one I can find is Jester Thomas, and he looks like a dork. If you're having trouble with this boss, though, he does a lot of damage, so feel free to summon him if this next one gives you trouble. Mytha, the Baneful Queen, well, she's seen better days. Her primary attacks are with her poke and spear. It's got a pretty good reach on it, and it comes out quickly, so in this battle I would say it's a good deal better to block. She'll also throw her head around and use it as a bomb, and it hurts quite a bit. It's also got a deceptively long range on the shockwave, so keep on your toes. Now, the most irritating thing about this fight is that if Mytha retreats into the poison, she'll start healing slowly. It's not for a huge amount, but depending on her behavior, a lot of your hard work can just go undone. Had you not burned the windmill down, this room would also be filled with poison. And that has some very nasty implications for this fight. Fortunately, her attacks are fairly predictable. She does like to use spells occasionally, so some magic defense, like from that spell quartz ring we picked up, certainly help. But the real secret here is just unloading with combustion and fireball, and maybe even the fire longsword. A lot of her attacks cover a really wide area, and they do it very quickly. So keeping your shield up is probably a good idea. If I was thinking more clearly, I probably would have gone ahead and put the pyromancy flame in my right hand and kept the shield. Most bosses you can't really do anything about in terms of blocking with a shield, but Mytha is one of the ones you can. This elevator goes up? We must be pretty near the top of the windmill. Maybe this is like a side chamber that was hidden behind it when we looked at the Earthen Peak in the distance? Oh. It's one of those elevators. I'm just, gonna light the bonfire, and next time we'll tackle the Iron Keep. Actually, no, we won't. We'll do something else. Stay tuned.